Welcome, everyone, to day 2 of 5 days of upgrading your offers. Today, first, we are going to talk about yesterday, and we're going to talk about number 1, what it meant for you to think about your offer in this upgraded way. We talked about a lot yesterday. We talked about messaging, we talked about packaging of the offer, and we talked a little bit about the ideal client for that offer. So, how did it feel yesterday? Love to hear from one or two of you to start thinking about your offer in this different way.
I would be happy to share that. I think one of the things that really came out for me is that value ladder
Mm,
to sort of have, like, what is your entry point? How do you get in touch with people? And how can you take them through? And then what we talked about, when you're on the conversation, start at the highest point. Because even if it's not one of you, if you already have the lowest point, you can always offer something to them, so they go away with something.
yes.
Even if it's not your client, it still feels like a giver kind of attitude. And I think that for me personally is important, that I don't feel forced into working with them, but I can still give them something.
Yes. I like that. I like the idea of being able to choose your clients. And we can only do that if somebody schedules with you to talk to you about working with you, and it's not somebody that's your ideal, by having other solutions. And that's the perfect segue into today, which is problem solution frameworks. Charlotte, did you want to say something about yesterday?
I was just gonna say, if you were looking for more input, I really appreciated the how you took the time to explain how to offer different variations of a
Mm,
similar content, as opposed to making up three different things. That was
yeah.
helpful.
Yes. And don't be afraid. I think as your confidence grows, don't be afraid to create something for the person in front of you.
Okay.
For example, I have a new client right now who is writing a book. And do I have an offer for somebody writing a book? No. Uh, can I support somebody in writing a book and doing the research and, having a cover made and yes, absolutely. I know exactly how to do that. And he's already my client over here. So rather than sending him somewhere else for an additional $20,000, I'm going to support him through his book writing process. So don't be afraid to use your expertise in other ways in that moment. And I think that's really important as you move forward. Doesn't mean going out of your zone of genius or out of your niche, but if somebody only needs you for one workshop, Charlotte, maybe you don't have a price figured out for that, but you can sure make one up on the fly if it's somebody you want to nurture the relationship with. And
Thank
that's
you.
really great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're
I
welcome.
just wanted to quickly say that I played with ChatGPT yesterday afterwards, and I asked it a lot of questions about the different offer options. So my business has always been kind of ad hoc, always personalized, depending on who it was, what it looked like. So I put in all the prompts we talked about yesterday and used my branding story and all the other things I've been doing and was like, give me 3 tiers of options here.
Mm.
They were so good that I was just like, okay. So first of all, I am not charging enough. That's the first thing ChatGPT told me. Second of
Yay!
all, yeah. And second of all, they created the 3 tiers without it being like 3 separate pieces of offer. Like it was like, this is the offer, and then if you want to do it, this is where you go, and this way you go. So it didn't feel like it was a massive, overwhelming, like I have 3 new offers. It actually just kind of broke it down. So I don't know if anybody else has done that or played with that, but it was really, really eye opening.
That's so good. And that's simplifying to so that you can make more money. And sometimes when I say that to people, they're like, "Oh, simplify to make more?" Yes. Because when it's simple and people understand it, you can charge more for it. And it's honestly astonishing when you finally embrace that. It really is. And the more people pay, the less they need. My mentor Mary tells me all the time about $1 million client of hers that she talks to once a month. He just needs to know that she's there, that he can pick up the phone and call. And I'm astonished by that, because somebody that pays $500 a month is going to want to talk to you every week. So it's really good. All right, today, let's dive into today. We're going to talk about problem solution frameworks and what that looks like, and how to get ChatGPT to help you craft those if you don't want to do it on your own. You can do it either way. So number one, what are your clients' most urgent problems? Make a list of 5 or 10 things right now that come to the top of your mind. Your ideal client's most urgent problems, and how can solving those, if all of those were solved in one offer, how much massive value would that be to your clients? So just pick 5 urgent problems of your ideal client, and then we will dive into the problem solution frameworks. And the other thing that we're also going to do today is be able to take those problem solution frameworks and tell stories about them. Stories about past clients, stories about clients in the future. Maybe it's a testimonial story, but take those problem solution frameworks and turn them into stories. And ChatGPT can help you with that as well. Who's got a couple problems they want to share? Okay, let me know when you're ready.
I can share. I've got all or nothing thinking, unrealistic programs, guilt and shame around self-care, complicated health plans, and no time for themselves.
Okay. I'm going to challenge you to have a couple more emotional connections. Feeling not good enough, feeling fat, old, and ugly, not measuring up to friends. I mean, men feel that way too sometimes. Maybe not feeling sexy anymore, losing their femininity. I mean, imagine when you gain 50 pounds and you're living in your husband's sweatpants. Or worse yet, your husband's sweatpants don't even fit you. Jerk. He's so skinny. And every woman can feel that if you tell a story about that. I remember the day feeling fat and gross, and I grabbed a pair of my husband's sweatpants and I put them on, and they were tighter than mine. Crap, what am I going to do? Right? Like stories like that tug at the, and here's what's interesting about the problem solution story posts. If you post them on social media, your ideal client probably will not like or comment on them, but they're going to send you a message about it. Because it's that emotional. You've hit that emotion so well that they're hiding from everyone. They don't want anybody to know that their husband's sweatpants are too tight, or their husband's jeans, or whatever. They wouldn't dare comment publicly on it. And that goes for all of you. The emotional side of the problems that you're solving. If your ideal client is a billionaire CEO, he has some problem that nobody knows about. That's what I'm here to solve. And if you're bold enough to say that, then they're going to be the ones that sign up to work with you through a conversation. That wouldn't be a post on social media because there's not many CEOs scrolling social media. But the principle is the same. If you grab that emotional piece that they don't tell anybody about. Jason, for you, not feeling seen or heard in your business, feeling overwhelmed by all the things you have to do really makes you feel not good enough, not valuable, not seen, not heard. I can't get my message out there. I can't make an impact. All of those things really, really tug. Awesome. Financial stability, constant worry about, yes. Go ahead, Martine. What are yours?
Chronic emotional disconnection, emotional baggage catching up, and lack of real support.
And how are they feeling about themselves?
How are they feeling about themselves in these situations? Sad, upset, discouraged, hurt, confused,
Yeah.
frustrated, angry,
Okay.
lost.
Drinking too much. Gambling too much.
Yeah.
Spending too much money. Dating 3 different women at a time.
Hey, those are my guys.
I know. They used to be my guys too, but yeah, I fixed that problem. All right. So now once you have, I want you to pick 3, maybe even 2 of those top ones. And when you're thinking about that problem, come up with a single solution for it. I'll pick on Charlotte because I know her business really well. So if one of Charlotte's potential clients is struggling with the new out of college hires and the over 50-year-olds in the office. So there's it's 2 different generations. It's also 2 different ways of communicating, 2 different ways of dressing for work. I mean, I remember my shock and awe the first day of school last year, seeing what the girls were allowed to wear to school. And I'm not a prude in any way, shape, or form, but I was horrified. I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even allowed to wear shorts to school. And it came out of my mouth in the car with my son and the other kids I drive. I'm like, wow, I wasn't even allowed to wear shorts to school. And these girls barely have underwear on that are shorts. And my son goes, what do you mean you weren't allowed to wear shorts? If I wore a skirt, it had to be longer than it was like Catholic school back then, right? And so that problem of the intergenerational, what's one solution you could facilitate a meeting between the younger ones and the older ones, and this could be a bonus in your program. So if somebody pays in full for an engagement with you, they get some special thing that's going to bring the generations together for a fun, interactive, communication fest. Going to put away the phones and do old style communication. Get the young ones out of their comfort, and that could be a bonus for your program for somebody that pays in full. Lindsay, go ahead.
I just have a quick question for you. If you know how you have your branding story and you get your ideal clients, so I've gone through a lot of your training, as you know. So I have all these things. Do I need to be inputting that into ChatGPT every single time we have this conversation? So you're like, okay, let's talk about the deeper emotions. In that case, do we bring ourselves to bringing that in every single time? Like, do I put it in and break it down every time I create a new chat? Or does ChatGPT somehow have that other than having, does that make sense? That makes sense.
Okay, so 2 things. If you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you can take your brand is about statement and your ideal client information and your program information and put it in the custom instructions. So then every thread that you use in the future will have that information. And that's in the settings over on the left, down the bottom, you'll see a little spot for custom instructions, but that's only with the paid version.
Okay, I have the page, so I will
Okay,
look into that.
perfect.
That was the biggest thing. I was like, I do it every
Yeah.
single time at the moment. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Okay.
Yes.
That's
Second, when you have a more in-depth statement about you and your ideal clients, you know, like a 2-paragrapher, which I'll have some prompts for you this week, you can put those in every time if you want, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing a book summary or summarizing a YouTube video, you don't need to, because you're going after somebody else's information in chat. But if you want it to create something for you, like an email or some social media content, then yes, put it in.
okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, these problem solution frameworks that we're going to work on today, that's something that you can, once you have 4 of them or 5 of them, you can put those in and then create a thread from there where you'll create content from. And I just leave my thread named problem solution. And so it has all that information about my problems and my solutions. And then I create from that space. And you don't have to add new information each time. It's just a thread I keep over there on the left. And if I decide to make a social media post and tell a story about my client Dorothy, who went from charging this to this, and she did this, and the solution was solution number 4, I have it write the story about her. Does that make sense? Awesome. Charlotte, did
Can
you
I
have
ask a quick question
Yeah, go ahead.
about the emotion versus fact?
Yes.
I've had people advise me to focus on ROI since I'm calling on customers. So do I do the hard number things like turnover and missed deadlines and errors requiring rework, or do I focus on some of that emotional that you're talking about what you just said, the perceived lack of initiative, laziness, attire, disengagement, like that emotional part, or do I do both?
Yeah, with B2B, it's a little tricky because your social media content, you want to be more problem solution focused, but not numbers focused, not what you're going to get from working with me focused, more informational. And then when you're actually talking to those clients, then that's more when you get into the ROI of it. And on Thursday, we'll talk a little bit about the conversation framework needed, especially in that B2B. I mean, it works everywhere, but that conversation about what problems they're having, not about what solutions you have. It's always about what problems they're having, getting them talking about their problems. And then if your solution matches their problems, awesome. Awesome. If not, that's your opportunity to connect them to somebody else. And we're going to talk about that on Thursday. Okay. So now problem solution frameworks, what does that look like? I have a prompt for you. I'm going to put it in the chat. Do all of you have your key problems from yesterday? Did you get to that point in your thread where you were coming up with problems? And if not, let me grab that prompt for you. Okay, so the first prompt I put in there is the secondary problems. Here's the one at the end of the day yesterday. Help me clearly articulate the problems my ideal clients face. So that would be where you finished up yesterday if you didn't add that one in. add that one in, and then go to the first one I put in. And those secondary problems in the prompt, it says insert the main problem. So for example, Charlotte, you would say intergenerational communication. That's your main problem. And then you're going to ask it to come up with the secondary problems that come from there. And it's many of the things that you mentioned because you've done this before. I think that might be very helpful for you too, Elsa and Martine. The secondary problems that come from those original things. Jason, lack of visibility, not feeling seen online, the secondary problems that come from that, all those things that you mentioned are actually secondary problems from lack of visibility. Really good. Now, problem solution frameworks from there. I'm going to grab one of mine, and we're going to, if you would like to have this same framework for yours, I will give you that as well. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the chat. This is one of mine, and this would be for a CEO. Now, this way it's coming out to you is the way I asked for it. So I'll show you how to do that. So my number one problem is lack of a work-life balance. I don't ever use that terminology, but I say working too much. Working too much, not making enough. So the overwhelmed CEO is struggling to maintain a healthy work-life balance, leading to stress, burnout, decreased productivity. The solution: strategies for time management, productivity, holistic wellness practices, restoring balance, overall well-being. Now here, what it gives me is 2 hooks. So they are the perfect things to say at the beginning of a social media post to grab that person's attention. I typically don't meet those people on social media, but it's giving you the general idea. So once you have those 2 prompts entered, the first problem, secondary problems, we can ask now for, based on my program, I would like to create problem solution frameworks. Please create 5 problem solution frameworks in this formula: problem, solution, and give me 2 ideas for a hook that would grab that person's attention. And it'll come out in that format that I just showed you. And Charlotte, I created one for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See if you like it. There it is.
Yes, those are awesome.
Awesome. So if you want more of those, take that one, put it into ChatGPT and say this is the problem solution framework I would like you to follow. Please create 5 more of these about all of the problems that I solve.
And individually put in the different problems.
No, they should already
It'll
be.
remember all of that. Okay.
Yeah, if it's in the thread, it'll remember.
Thank you.
Yeah, now here's another one, Elsa, that might, oh, hold on. that might apply to you. High stress, emotional burnout. How's it coming out for you, Martine? Good?
Ridiculous. I was gonna post it in the chat. It's kind of a lot, but I'll just show it. Here's mine. It's like, oh wow. At 485 words only lets me do 1,000. So
Okay.
so let me just kind of throw one or two in there. So it gave me like, chronic emotional disconnection. Problem is they feel emotionally disconnected from their spouse, children, friends, causing their personal relationships to suffer. The
Mhm.
solution is Emotional Intelligence Masterclass, offering bonus training or workshop on emotional intelligence, teaching them how to reconnect emotionally, improve communication, and build stronger relationships with their loved ones. Now, this is the thing. I read through most of the things they say, and that's what I do anyways. Like I do that anyways.
Mhm.
So when I look at my coaching offer, it doesn't say that I do that. So, or let me go like, okay, so if I do communication mastery, that's, better improve communication and less conflict, so that's those two things. Okay. I don't have a bunch of stuff. And because I just want to have like less words,
Right.
as I was
Right.
like, I was Mr. Bullet Point forever, like, it's 2 points, like two little things. This is what I do. I do this and this. So then when it comes to my coaching, I'm gonna go look and see what my coaching offer looks like really quick, and then I will say something about that. Products, coaching. So programs. Okay, one-on-one, men's breakthrough, one-on-one unlimited coaching 1 year. Okay, so let me look at that. So we have 5 people in that program.
Mhm.
So it's not giving me what I need on this. The way Kajabi has it set up, it's like they have the program and then the offers. It's kind of sometimes. Okay, so probably too wordy. So
Okay.
so this is how I have it. I have it men's unlimited, men's breakthrough unlimited coaching, introducing blah blah blah, men's unlimited 1 year limited coaching program. Are you currently committed to living a life with integrity, grit, drive, passion, and purpose? You aspire to reach new heights in both your professional and personal life. If so, Men's Breakthrough 1 year coaching program is designed just for you. No matter what your goals are, we deliver success and we deliver it fast. Here's what you can expect. This is more freedom. It gives you definition, more money, gives you definition, balance, gives you definition, transform your ego into your hero, gives you a definition. I'm not so I guess what I'm trying to understand is, or I guess I'm trying to realize or decide, am I actually addressing the problem? Or am I just kind of making like, hey, this is a great idea. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. So what I would recommend in that case, open up a new thread, tell that new thread about your ideal client, and ask it to brainstorm problems. Don't tell it anything about you. Just focus on your ideal client and see what problems that person is having in regards to their performance, their productivity, and see what it says. Hi, Chris.
Sorry, I'm late. I had a
Quite all
doctor
right.
appointment and I'm eating a late lunch, so
Okay.
sorry.
Quite
I
all
have
right.
this. I have the same question as Jason. I'm not quite sure how you do. If you just ask, I put in the secondary problem, and then do you just send in? Can you please, that you gave that prompt. Help me clearly articulate. Do you then say in the problem solution framework and and provide me both solution and a hook? Do you do that in the prompt, or how do you do that?
Yes, do that in a prompt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a fresh thread and kind of walk you through how I would do it, because there is no perfect way to do it. And I'm not going to pretend there is. The idea that I want to get across to you, this is about experimenting and talking to it like it's a thinking partner, not going to give you the direct answer, right? So if you don't like what you've gotten back, it's just like pretend it's like a person saying to you, well, here's the problem solutions. And you're like, I like number 2 and number 5, but not number 1 and 3 and 4, right? It's a collaboration that you're doing to get the information that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And now my chat GPT doesn't want to talk to me right now.
Okay.
So, so I have my ideal client. So put my ideal client, create a new prompt, right? You're going to do it. So should I just follow you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
I'll wait.
Let me
Follow you.
open, and I'm just going to use regular chat GPT. Okay. So there's a couple choices right here. You can use the upgraded new version. And I haven't played much with that, so why don't we try that today for those of you that had the paid version. And Lindsay, as far as doing your custom instructions, that's how you customize your own GPT. Go to settings right here. So you see your little picture on the upper right. You'll see settings and go to personalization. You can clear its memory if you want. Custom instructions, you want to turn that on. And here's where you add them. So this is all about me. And this is how I want it to respond. Casual conversational tone with authority in the business space. I would love to have strong opinions using quotes, Stoic philosophy, learning, and books. Always mention resources. Be as concise and remove filler words. Keep in mind, my ideal client is a 6 to 7 figure entrepreneur with multiple team members and 5 years experience. And that's enabled for every new chat. Okay, so we're going to start, and I'm going to grab my about statement that's created from all my profiles. And I'm going to grab my ideal client statement. So it's 4 paragraphs of information. I'm copying that from my little database. And I'm going to say, hello, here is some information about me and my ideal client. I would like the top 10 to 20 problems that my ideal client face. And that's where we're going to start. And then I paste in the information about me.
Sorry, can you go up a little bit? Push the prompt up.
Oh.
Sorry.
It was, hello, here's some information about me and my ideal client. I would like the top 10 to 20 problems that my ideal clients face. And then I pasted in my info. Okay, top 20 problems. I'm going to pick the top 5 just to be concise. All right, I like number 4. That matches what I do. Number 4, number 5, number 7, number 8, 4, 5, 7, 8, 12, 14. Ooh, I like a lot of these. Okay, but for today's purposes, we're going to go with 4, 5, 7, 14. Please expand on 4, 5, 7, and 14. Now, if more of those resonate for you, you can of course do more, but I wanted to shorten the responses for you. Okay, so when you tell it to expand on, it's going to give you more information on that topic, which is great. So if my clients have uncertainty in pivoting their business, don't know how to change their offers, don't know how to change their persona, don't know how to change their pricing, don't know how to change their ideal client, it's because of fear of the unknown, lack of a clear strategy, risk assessment difficulties, concern over stakeholder reactions. That's happened with a couple of my clients. They're afraid what their husband's going to think, their friends are going to think, their business partners are going to think, so they don't make changes. Resource allocation. How many times have we heard that from people who want to work with us? Oh, I don't have the money to do that right now. So it gave me, some great stuff with self-doubt and confidence issues, imposter syndrome, hesitation, fear of failure, self-perception, comparison with peers. That's awesome. Juicy. Go ahead, Lindsay.
So I did that online, and they're very non-emotional. So if I want to get more emotional, thinking about like the sweatpants and feeling fat on Zoom, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
do I just ask it to go deeper into an emotional conversation?
Yes, absolutely. Say something along the lines of, that's great, but let's go deeper into the emotional and psychological challenges my clients are having and see what it says. Okay, so now I have these deeper, I love these because this is my why. My why is to challenge the status quo. And this came up for me with a client on Friday who is refusing to change, refusing to do things differently, to the point where he's been doing the same thing for 4 years. It hasn't worked. He wants to hire me. He can't hire me because he keeps doing the same thing and it's not working, blah, blah, blah. And finally, I just said, you're comfortable where you are, and that's okay. And that's what got him, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not comfortable where I'm at. Okay, well, then you're ready to change, or you're ready to consider changing. It's two different things. So this was very helpful, right? Comfort with established practices. Awesome. Okay, so now we dove deeper into those, and I got some great information. So now I'm going to say, what information, oops, let's spell correctly, do you need to create problem solution frameworks and stories for social media. So now it's going to tell me what else it needs from me. Now it has all those problems, but what else does it need from me? And I know it's going to say, okay, great. It needs my coaching solutions. It could use some success stories and case studies. Now, I don't have to give it all of this, but if I do, I'm going to get much better problem solution frameworks. So if you ask it for this list for yourself, this seems like a lot, right? But I do have detailed client profiles I can paste in. Specific problems my clients have faced, I can easily come up with those. My unique solutions, yes, I'm going to insert my 3 offers. Success stories, well, I have a whole playlist of videos I could give it access to that are all my case studies. I could tell my own story in here. My core values, yes, absolutely. Let's add that in. That could be one of my assessments. It could be my belief statements, common objections I receive. Yes, absolutely. Industry insights. No, I don't need that. Calls to action. Yes. So you can see the more information I give it, the better problem solution frameworks I'm going to get back. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to be as concise as possible. And I am going to go get about my programs. And that's all I'm going to give it. All right. I'm going to give it my 8-week outline. And we're just going to do that for now. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Sorry, can you just tell me what this last prompt was before you put
Yes.
the program?
What information do you need to create problem solution frameworks and stories for social media? So I'm asking it what more information you need from me to do this task. It's always going to give you a list of things, which is wonderful. All right, so I gave it my 8-week program. And now I'm going to go grab some ideal client stuff. It's going to, okay, awesome. All right, so now I'm grabbing my ideal client profile number 2. All right, so now it's telling me for each week of my program, it's giving me the problem, it's giving me a solution, and a story suggestion for social media. Well, that's incredible marketing for selling my 8-week program. I'm not going to use this exact story, but when I look at this story, I remember when I first started coaching, I was hesitant to charge what my services were worth. One day a client told me, your program changed my life. You should be charging more. Yeah, how many times have we heard that? Could I think about a story similar to this that's actually real and point it to one of my YouTube videos? Yes, absolutely. So there's some great ideas for problem solutions. So I have all those for each week of my program. Now, great marketing, great emails, stories to write, awesome. Now, next steps for social media content, it's given me, use these stories as the basis for social media posts. Great, I already know all that, but still. And here's an example as a social media post. Comment or send me a message to learn more. And now I'm going to say, here is some information about one of my ideal clients. Please craft problem solution frameworks for this person. Okay, now that framework that I just typed in there, I'll share it with you. I don't think I can put the whole thing in the chat, but let me show it to you. So basically, it's, and if anybody wants this, just put your email in the chat for me right now, or just say me in the chat. I have all your emails. I'll send you the framework for an ideal client profile. So if you're struggling with that, I recommend 4 or 5 ideal client profiles. Let me just stop share for a second and I will show you. So here's my first one, the established CEO. And this is the framework that I do all of my ideal client profiles in: job title, hopes and dreams, financial profile, psychological profile, demographics, lifestyle profile, personality values, then their struggles professionally, personally, how I can help. And then it goes on and does the same thing for profile number 2. Number 3, the corporate escapee, my favorite ideal client. And then number 4, the creative leader. And again, it's all in the same framework. Some of it's a little repetitive between those ideal clients, but the emotion typically is a little different. You start to notice some similarities in the lifestyle and the how you can help piece. This is key. These statements right here, how you can help. Now, when I meet somebody who's a creative leader, just met one today, she introduced me to a couple amazing people, and I did the same for her. This right here, clarifying her vision. She owns a SaaS company. More on that because I'm going to be using what she has. It's really cool. That was the question I asked her. What's your vision for this SaaS company? How do you see people like me using it? I can't wait to test it. What do you see in the future? Oh, I would love to have 100 people like you using it. I said, do you have plans to white label it for people like me? Oh, no. Say more about that. I said, well, it would be really incredible to have my logo on it, my name on it, and use your software as a service. She was like, that's a really great idea. But that was because I was prepared for, because she's my ideal client, I'm not meeting her for a sales conversation, but I also know exactly how I would help somebody like her by clarifying that vision. Thank you, Chris, since you're a clarifier.
Well, yeah, I'm applauding you, and I was also raising my hand, but I picked the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, then
Sorry.
that's okay.
But that
So
was good.
if you like this framework, I'll send you this framework and you just ask it, hey, this is an ideal client framework that I really like. Could you do mine in this framework? Yes. Go ahead, Chris.
So this is as much for me as everybody else on this Zoom. I think what's really cool about the ideal client framework and using AI to help craft it are the number of ideas that sort of, come out of it and that you wouldn't have thought of. But the other thing I think is really important for all of us to remember is, so these characteristics may represent all of the types of people who you can help, right? And they may be ideal in the sense of, your skill set and blah, blah, blah. But I think for all of us, it's important to be mindful of thinking about who do we want to help?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you can help a whole bunch of people. It was like the conversation we had with Elsie, yesterday when, we were talking about, I think it was interior design or something, you can, or being a coach, you can
Mm-hmm.
be a very effective coach, and
Yeah.
I think for all of us, it's also taking a look at these characteristics to put together for ourselves. Okay, who do we really want to help? That's all. I just wanted to.
Yes. And so I have 4 profiles of different, but the characteristics are so similar. And the desires are similar. The pain points are similar, but the way we talk to them is different. And that's the magic of being able to talk to a CEO and help them clarify their vision, or helping a creative entrepreneur clarify something or simplify something. And even though they're different job titles, the problem is still the same that I'm solving. And I think that's key. And if you have, 4 or 5 ideal client profiles, ideally you're picking one of those. One of those is your dream. So when I said my favorite one is the corporate escapee, why? Why are they my favorite? Because they're the ones that don't have the confidence to extract their own genius and know that they have something of value for the marketplace. I love that person. And knowing that, unfortunately, until you've worked with 100 clients, you're not going to know who your favorite is. Go ahead, Elsa.
Well, one thing that I'm realizing as you are talking right now is because fundamentally I focus on the same problems no matter who my client is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a while back, I made this profile of the 2 distinct ways that they see themselves. They have the same problem, but I have to talk to them differently depending on how they see themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the ones I work with are the ultimate pleaser personality.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that the opposite, but with the same problem, is the one that has the provider. I'm the provider. I have to work hard to take care of everybody else. But their mindset about being a provider is very different than the one that's a pleaser. But they end up with the same emotional struggles.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to someone recently about this, Elsie, that is it Elsa? Am I pronouncing it mispronounced? Elsa. Right?
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry. Okay. And I know that Suzanne is familiar with this. It's the positive intelligence assessment. Are you familiar with it, Elsa?
I'm a certified master positive intelligence coach.
Well, then forget that I said anything. But yeah, so I mean, what you're talking to, those negative voices, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But thank you. Yeah, I am very familiar with it.
Yes, and that's really something you could program a whole thread to talk just like that. With that certification and that information, you could program a thread just to talk to that. If you're going to run cohorts of that, Elsa, or if you're going to use that as the basis for your coaching program, you can absolutely run that through.
Thank you for that, because that's one of the things that I was thinking about in my tier,
Mm-hmm.
that it would be, and anyway, that's a discussion for another day, but yeah, I thank you for that.
Yeah,
I think I'll do that.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's see what I got from that last one. So what I did here with this last prompt, I put in one of my ideal clients, right? And I said, please craft problem solution frameworks for this person. One of my profiles. So now, I got some things I don't like so much. I don't like problem number one. Number two is okay, but not great. That's like a secondary problem. Number three, yes, absolutely. All right, so number three is a yes. Number four, not so much. Number five, yes. Number six, yes. So 3, 5, 6. 9, maybe 10. Okay. Let's go with 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10 as my core problems and solutions. Please expand and give content ideas for each. So now I'm just experimenting with the give content ideas for each. I don't know what it's going to say as far as content ideas, but I'm experimenting. And this creativity aspect of what we're doing is something I want to encourage with you, because you can always start over. You can always say, no, I don't like that. Let's begin again. And that's totally fine. But your creativity here is where the magic is going to happen. Okay. So now it's giving me some expanded problem details. Finding your unique voice. Yes. Establishing authority. Yes. Engaging communication. Yes. It's part of 50% of what my book is about being able to engage in conversations with people, building rapport, being able to meet people. Yes. Love that. Brand story development. That's something I would refer out. Thought leadership strategy. Yes. Effective communication skills. Yes. Now this is where it gets good. Content ideas, personal journey stories, tips, insight, webinars and workshop, guest appearances. Yes, I do this every week. Yes, yes. Engaging videos. Yes. Testimonials and case studies. Yes. Interactive Q&A sessions. Yes. Coming soon. So all of these things are wonderful for me. Self-doubt, imposter syndrome, yes. Fear of failure, yes. Perfectionism, yes. All those things go away when you work with me. Expanded solutions. Now, here's what's interesting. I don't ever talk about the work I do with somebody's mindset or confidence building practices or having a support network. But I believe you get all of those things when you work with me. So maybe I'm missing something, not talking about that more. So that's interesting. So try to look at what it says from that perspective for yourself. Now it gives me some great ideas for some more content. And I love this. This is great. Content ideas for this one, templates and checklists, information overload, overwhelmed with advice. One of my rules when you sign up to work with me one-on-one, you can't have another coach. I'm not competing. Not in your head anyway. Right? And this is important. If you have that thought about working with your clients, Charlotte, how would it be if you walked into one of your clients and they had some other consultant there that was battling? you.
Frustrating.
Very frustrating. So just make it a rule. I don't do that. I don't do that. When you're ready to work with me, you're ready to work with me, and it's intense, and we're going to talk almost every day or be in some sort of communication, and there's no room for your work with someone else. So when you're ready, here I am. And if that's how you feel, say it. Expanded solutions. Love this. Simplification is part of my why. Simplification again. Love that. Quizzes. Yes. All right. I love all of this. Okay. So now that I have some great info, I am going to ask one further question. What would be an attention grabbing lead magnet for this person based on these problems and solutions? Give massive value and action steps for this offer. Not bad. Jason, are you still here? What do you think about that? 7-day visibility breakthrough challenge. Let me email that to you, Mr. Visibility Coach. But you get the idea.
Cool.
That wouldn't be what I would pick, but I can go back and ask it for another one, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to say, I don't like that one. Let's try for a checklist or a PDF. Give me some ideas. But say I did like that 7-day challenge. I'm going to show you what I would do next with that. And then we'll wrap up. Any questions so far about where we got to? Your mission today is to play until you're happy with the problem solution frameworks that you come up with. And if you want to craft your own framework for those problem solutions, totally fine.
Can I ask about one of your prompts?
Absolutely.
Several steps back when you just said expand certain problems, and it expanded those problems, it expanded the solutions. Did it automatically give the content ideas, or was that part of your prompt?
I think it was part of my prompt.
Just want to make sure I include it if I need to.
And
I'm sorry it was so far back.
no, it's okay. It gave me a lot of information. Yeah, let's go with 3, 5, 6, 9, and 10 as my core problems and solutions. Please expand and give content ideas for each.
Thank you.
Now, if you wanted to actually create the content from the ideas that it gives you, what I typically do is copy whatever you like put that back in and say, let's create this now, and tell it for Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, and it will adjust accordingly. Now, this new opt-in that it created, the ultimate visibility blueprint, a step-by-step checklist to amplify your brand and attract high-paying clients. Not bad. I would call it authority blueprint. Gave me another idea, confidence building workbook for entrepreneurs. I like that. A quick guide to stress-free promotion. I could work with something like that, a little bit different title. The information detox checklist. I like that. A guide to staying on track. No. The emerging entrepreneurs toolkit. Not bad. Okay, so now it's giving me outlines for each one. So I'm going to pick one. It's even given me the follow-up strategy for this one. Look at that. So implementation details of each lead magnet. It tells me exactly what to do. Clarify the audience, optimize my profiles, develop content, leverage networking, implement consistent branding, using testimonials, measure the impact and the action steps, and then how to market the lead magnet. What's the follow-up strategy? Nice. Not bad. Additional lead magnet ideas. I like this one. Overcome self-doubt in 5 days. Little daily email. That would be fun. So let's go with that. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to copy it. And now what I would typically do is not stay in this thread. I'm going to come over here and I could use one of my course creators, but I'm going to go to a new GPT and find an email writing. Business email marketing copywriter. Yes. Here is the info for a 5-day email series. And my ideal client. Please write 5 emails in a conversational and bold tone that engages new subscribers and encourages them to join my community. All right, so now I'm going to paste in the info, and then I'm going to, again, I'm going to grab my ideal client. And I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to hit go. Now, if I was really going to use this for an email series, I would probably give it a little bit more information about my community, about me, but all right, so email number 1, it gives me subject line options, preview text options, banner header options, subheader, call to action buttons, body, CTA. Okay, that's very short. Didn't write very good emails. These emails are entirely too short.
Funny you say that because that's the kind of email I like.
We make them full of more value and stories. You like those short to the point ones, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll write that down for when I'm emailing you in the future. Do you know your bank code, Elsa?
I don't. You were talking about that yesterday. I don't know what that is.
I'll grab it for you if you want to take it. Okay, so this is better. It says about me, I'll be guiding you through some practical steps. Day 1 action, get curious about your self-doubt. Yeah, like that much better. Oh, look, there's a little story in there. So perfect spot for me to adjust that story to something that's actually true. Don't go with the stories it tells you. Nice. Okay, so you get what I did there. The emails were too short. I wanted more value. I wanted more story. And it did that for me. So email series really can be really, really easy, especially a nurture sequence or an educational sequence. And ideally, you want to have emails that lead into the next one. That's something I learned from a coach a couple of years ago. He sends an email every day, this person, which I don't like that, and I don't ever want to do that. But one email leads to the next one. It's like this never-ending story. So it keeps you kind of, if you're actually reading them, it makes you want to open the next one to find out what happens. And so I'm going to continue generating those. Okay, now once you have, something like that, you could go with social media posts to promote that email series. And that's getting a little bit more into content creation. So I'm going to stop there and encourage you to work on your problem solution frameworks and have those ready for tomorrow. 3 problems, 3 solutions. They can all be the same solution. It can all be your program. It can all be your offer. But how are you going to communicate that offer to solve that problem? Any questions before we wrap up?
I have one a little bit related to yesterday. You mentioned taking all the assessments, inputting them into ChatGPT, getting some information. I have results, but I don't have explanations of all of them. So would ChatGPT know bank, or would I need to look up some information on bank and say,
Nope.
Okay.
You
So
just add the PDFs. Whichever.
I just have like whatever my number. I know the order of my letters, but I don't have necessarily a PDF that says what each means. Should I look for that?
Yes, because my bank code report basically, gives my code and then it tells all about it.
Okay, I'll look back at my emails. I probably have them.
Okay, if you don't, let me know. I can always pull a description of you from, the bank website.
Okay, thank you.
And Elsa, if you want to take it, I'll email you the link. Okay. And I think when you're doing the assessment piece, the more information you have about yourself, the better. Like I took my human design chart, I took my gene keys analysis, I took my Sagittarius horoscope, like that told all about Sagittarius. I also took my 16 personalities, my Fascinate, my DISC, my YOS, my bank code, and all of those are in PDF forms. And the ones that weren't, I did have some information from one assessment that was not in a PDF form. It kind of came in an email from Fascinate. What to say when somebody says, "Why should I hire you?" And it had these 20 statements that I should say in response to that, or could say, depending on the project or the person. I put all of those in too. So they're my like power statements of what makes me different than someone else. And after all of that was put in, I think I put in 3 PDFs at a time. I said, I'm going to give you some more. Please don't create anything yet. And I gave it some more. Please don't create anything yet. I'm still loading information. And then once it was all in, I said, now that you have all that information, tell me about me. That's it. Tell me about me. So let me know how you make out. Keep me posted on that, how you make out. And have your problem solution frameworks for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be diving into crafting bonuses and what that looks like. We'll pick up kind of in that thread where I created today and ask it to create some bonuses for my 8-week program. Like, what would be some good ideas to give as a bonus? And we'll get some ideas going for your bonuses, what that looks like. Charlotte, for you, it could be your 3 different levels of engagement with you. What does that look like? What's the tangible pieces of that? And if you want me to share the page from my coach, my facilitation coach, John, I'll send that to you that has his 3 tiers on it. So you can, yeah, Chris.
So I don't really know how I feel about this, but I was really excited, and I am, with giving ChatGPT all of this information about me, and then a thought just raced across my brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is it good? Is it smart
Mm-hmm.
to divulge all of this in a single place? Where could all of this go in terms of, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's a bit of the paranoia kind of thing. And while I'm not out on the lunatic fringe of like, I don't want a cell phone because maybe the government will know where I am. I mean, I'm not like out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the thought just ran across my head about, wow, I am giving the universe a whole bunch of information that it likely has in other ways,
Yeah.
but now I'm just putting it all in one. Here you go.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but how many other Chris's are there? You're not giving it your last name and your social security number and your address, and I've never told it my last name. I've never given it my website or anything like that. So
Well, you've given it your last name in the PDFs, probably in some of
maybe.
but anyway,
Yeah.
look, and I'm not like, this isn't about, oh my God, we're making a huge mistake here. But I just had that thought, and it was like, wow. So that's all. I don't know if anybody else is concerned about that or not, and I don't really have an alternative, because certainly what is getting generated through providing this information, what's being received in response, is eminently helpful. There's no question about it. Anyway, sorry, it's from the paranoid part of my brain that just was like,
It's from the attorney part of you. It's okay.
it is.
I
Yeah.
figured they know everything about us anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to think that that's probably true.
Listen, do a test right now and open your phone I can't wait to get a bread machine. I'm just saying,
It'll all just, you'll be
I
like,
guarantee there'll be an ad for a bread machine on some social media platform very shortly.
yep, there you go.
Yeah. I was talking to a client on Zoom one time, and my phone, it was either open or maybe I was on my phone talking to her. Yes, I was on my phone talking to her about her getting divorced and that I was going to find her a local divorce attorney. I would give her some names. As soon as I hung up from the conversation and I opened Facebook, there was an ad for an all-female divorce attorney firm here in my town. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is listening. I don't have my Alexa or my Google Assistant plugged in my office anymore for that reason. It was listening all the time. Not much you can do about that, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before tomorrow? We're going to dive into those bonuses and naming those bonuses, to be more attractive. I'm going to give you some examples of some things that I've named that work really, really well and some things that didn't go so well, and show you some great examples from some influencers who've done a great job naming things. Okay?
Thank you very